Nazdar rockeři, je tady další díl Backstage a dnes tady mám úžasné hosty Petera Freestona a Milana Devinne. A abych představila, kdo vlastně tito pánové jsou, tak začnu s Petrem. Hello Peter, hello Milane.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. We are really excited to have you here.
No, thank you.
All right, so Peter, welcome. Who is Peter Freestone?
Who am I? Okay. My name is Peter Freestone. I was Freddie Mercury's personal assistant for the last 12 years of his life. It happened purely by chance because I was working at the Royal Opera House for the Royal Ballet in London, 1979. Freddie was the special guest at a big charity show that they did, and he performed Crazy Little Thing Called Love and Bohemian Rhapsody, but being thrown around the stage by dancers. I met him afterwards and just said to him that I thought it was wonderful, his voice, Queen music, and the Royal Ballet dancers who I knew. He was incredibly polite for a rocker. I mean, oh no, that's very kind of you, thank you very much. I mean, it was such a shock, you know, t-shirt, jeans, rocker, thank you very much. It just was a surprise. We talked a bit, he asked what work I did at the Opera House. So I explained looking after the costumes, and that was it. Conversation finished. About, 10 days later, someone from Queen Management rang up my boss to ask if I was available to do a 6-week tour with Queen, looking after the stage costumes. So that 5-minute conversation worked.
Changed your mind.
It
changed your life.
It did, for the next 12 years of my life.
Right.
Well, actually not only the 12, carrying on even till today.
Have you ever counted how many concerts you went to with them?
I haven't, but someone told me. I think it's somewhere in the region of 300.
Oh wow! Okay, did you have a chance to see any of them as a guest or as a viewer?
I saw 2.
Okay. Out of 300.
Yeah, the rest of them I was working.
Right.
And you always spent the time backstage because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, once it was in Hanover in Germany on tour. Freddie had damaged his leg off tour.
Okay.
And this was the first sort of tour when he'd come back. And halfway through the show in Hanover, he just collapsed on stage. So we had to be there watching what was going on. So his security and I just went on, lifted him up, put his arms around our shoulders and we carried him off. But the thing is, even then, he wasn't just taken away. Everybody assumed the show was going to finish. But Freddie says, don't be stupid, come on, look at the set list. He says, look, there's 4 more songs that I'm by the piano. So, take me out, put me by the piano, we do these 4 songs, then I will go and get something done about this. Because the fans were important to him. He wanted always to give to the fans.
I think they felt it, and I guess people feel it still until today because his legacy is still very, very attractive for even young people. Who.
This is the thing. I mean, with where we go, the things we do, we talk to young people, and even 13-year-olds know who Freddie Mercury is. Yeah. Freddie never dreamt. In those last years of his, he never dreamt that 30 years later he would still be as well known as he was then. I think in Freddie's mind, maybe 10 years, 15 years maximum, and things will just go down naturally.
It doesn't seem to be going down anymore.
No, and the thing is, that's the power of music.
Yeah.
That is the power of music.
That's wonderful, and the personality, the aura that he brought. All right, well, Peter, tell me, how did you end up here in the Czech Republic? Because you've been living here, you have a citizenship. Do you have a passport? Czech passport?
Yes,
You have a Czech
I
passport?
do.
Okay.
I don't have the passport, but
Česká občanka, okay. All right. So how did you end up here? Why did you choose the Czech Republic?
Again, it called out my name, I think. In the year 2000, I visited Prague for 4 days. And I think like every foreigner, I just totally fell in love with the place. I mean, everybody does. I had a small hotel that I was selling in England at the time. And after those 4 days, I went back, the hotel was sold, the company was looking for a bar for me. And it was the middle of March 2001, and I thought, I've got some free time, I'm going to go back to Prague. So I booked for 3 days, which extended over 4, 7, 10 days. I said, this is stupid, I have to go home. I went back and the company said, look, we've been looking and we haven't found the right place. I said, look, just thank you very, very much, but we'll forget this now. And I got back to the airport on a plane and back to Prague.
All right.
It just was calling me.
Okay.
But the thing is, I know why, because music is important to me. I have to listen to music every day, whether it was written 3 hours ago or 300 years ago. Music, it's a language the whole world can speak. And I've found that Czech people have music inside them, it's in their hearts.
It's true, that's true.
You know, something I've never seen anywhere else is, you know how every little village has its feast day, where everybody gets dressed up, goes to the hospoda or to the hasiči and gets drunk, listening to dechovky and everything else.
Do you listen to dechovka?
Oh yes, of course.
All right.
But the thing is, you look around and there's 10-year-olds who know all the music and all the words.
Right. Yeah, it's true. We grew up with music. I've never thought about it like that. Thank you.
But and you know, we go to schools for the other project, and every school has a massive music room with posters of orchestral instruments, rock instruments, composers.
Right.
I think it's wonderful.
It is. Well, thank you for bringing it up because I've never realized that. Thank you. All right. So you have been here for over 20 years. What have you been doing? If it's not a secret, you know.
No.
Do you just
not
travel, relax, learn Czech, right? You speak Czech.
Já můžu, jestli já musím. Ale tady je doma, tak já rozumím, já musím mluvit čeština. Ale když já mluvím čeština, lidi musí mít moc čas. Protože jak já mluvím, oni nerozumí tento. Tak, so Czenglish is easier.
Ale já rozumím dobře.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Because Czech is extremely hard. It's a very hard language.
Tell me.
To learn. So I think, you know, it's highly appreciated when anybody tries or attempts to learn it. So thank you very much.
But the thing is, it's also my fault because I'm so lazy.
Lazy for what?
I've never been for a Czech lesson in my life.
Oh?
It's just listening to people talking, friends like him correcting me.
That's very important too.
You know,
yeah.
but as I say, I have citizenship here. I am at home. I will never move anywhere else now. So this is why where I live, I think there's only about 6 people speak English, so I have to speak Czech.
Well, that is the best exercise for you.
Oh yes, of course.
That is the best. Okay, can you say řízek?
No. I will use any other
Word without j.
without that.
Yeah, without that. Okay.
J. J.
You know what? You don't have to. You don't have to know it. You know, we understand you if you say it instead of, you know.
When I try, people laugh. That's okay.
Okay, so you make people laugh. That's good. All right. Was Freddie ever in the Czech Republic?
Sadly, he wasn't. The nearest he came to it was when he sailed through Czechoslovakia, when he went through Bratislava on the boat from Vienna to Budapest. They sailed when they did the show there. That was in 1986. It was still communist times here. And when the wall came down, he wasn't really traveling so much then after 1989. I know he would have absolutely loved Prague and most of the Republic with the architecture, and of course he loved crystal. And there's the old crystal you can still find here.
Right.
He would have enjoyed shopping.
You know, I was wondering if you know what was the connection between the title of the song Bohemian Rhapsody and Czechy as Bohemia, you know?
Yeah.
Is there any connection?
I don't think so. I think it was more to do with the Bohemian lifestyle,
Right.
as you hear in Paris
Right.
back in the turn of the century, the last century, you know, like the opera La Bohème.
Right.
It was more in those lines.
Okay, thank you very much. A taky chci přivítat Milana. Milane, dobrý den.
Dobrý den.
Tak jsem ráda, že jste přijeli spolu. Můžu poprosit, že byste se představil pro naše diváky, kdo vlastně Milan Devinne je.
Tak, mé jméno je Milan Devinne, jsem český zpěvák a občas i příležitostný herec. Hážou mě do těch německých rolí, já nevím vůbec proč. A víceméně více jak 10 let spolupracujeme s Petrem na různých kulturních i jiných projektech.
Aha. Dáte nám nějaký třeba příklad? Nebo vy jste přijeli do Ostravy včera?
Včera jsme byli vlastně součástí talk show s názvem Takový byl Freddie Mercury, kde vlastně Peter povídá o tom zákulisním životě Freddieho a já vlastně to provázím tuto talk show vlastně naším aranžmá písní skupiny Queen v unplugged podání a zároveň Petra překládám a děláme si ze sebe srandu.
Skvěle. Milane, vy jste se narodil 2 roky poté, co Freddie zemřel. To jsem prozradila váš věk, ale u pánů to není snad takový problém.
Určitě ne.
Chci se zeptat, jak se k vám hudba Queen dostala, kde si vás našla, nebo kde jste si našel vy?
Vlastně já si myslím, že to bylo úplně od nějakého prvopočátku, protože to poslouchali rodiče, respektive mamka, tak měli hodně kazet, hlavně Made in Heaven album a tak dále. Pak se domů dostala VHS kazeta a The Video Greatest Hits, takže ty všechny videoklipy, kdy za pár let už ta páska byla úplně průhledná a vlastně už odmala vím, že škoda, že jsme to neměli nikdy jak natočit, ale prý ve 3 letech jsem se slíkal za gaučem a jak běžel ten videoklip z písně I Want to Break Free, tak jsem vyskočil zpoza gauče s jakousi nějakou vařečkou a začal zpívat Akatsufi, to mělo být I Want to Break Free, takže vlastně odmala mě ta hudba nějakým způsobem ovlivnila a později jsem pochopil, že ten Freddie je něčím zvláštní v tom dobrém slova smyslu, nějakým způsobem mě ochromil, okouzlil a vlastně nějakým způsobem se to přitáhlo a teď spolupracujeme už dlouho s Petrem, takže je to zajímavé, ale je to tímto způsobem.
To je krásné, oni ty duše se vždycky najdou, ty, co spolu mají nějak spolupracovat, tak tam je magnet, že jo?
To je asi pravda.
Peter, you were Freddie's personal assistant for 12 years, since 1979, I guess?
Yeah, in fact, 100% accurately, I should correct it. The first year I looked after the costumes for the band, but then Freddie was doing 2 years away from England and he asked me specifically would I take care of him.
So what were, after the care of the costumes, what were your personal duties then, you know, or competences within your help to Freddie, or assistance?
The thing is, there was never any contract.
Okay.
Because
it wasn't necessary.
Because they couldn't put down in the contract everything that I had to do.
Okay.
basically my job was to live Freddie's normal day-to-day life that we all have to do, to answer the telephone, do some shopping, do some cooking,
Right.
some cleaning, arrange where he had to be, make sure the car was there, arrange his life so that he could concentrate on the music. That sort of thing. I mean, you think of personal assistant, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Monday to Friday. No, this was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, was there any room for taking care also of Peter?
Not really, but that wasn't a problem for me.
Okay.
The thing is, I mean, after Freddie died, there were 2 other people who asked, would I do the work for them? And I said no, because I worked, well, it was work. I knew it was work because money went into my bank account. Otherwise, you wouldn't think it was work. But I did this for Freddie, for the person, for the man behind the image. Freddie was the best friend anybody could ever wish to have. And I was lucky enough to be one of those people. He would do anything for his friends. But then, on the other hand, his friends would have done anything that they could have done for him. He was just that sort of person. There was just something magnetic about him.
I could imagine that because we know Freddie from the stage, from as the superstar, the icon. But I can imagine that in personal life, in private life, he was maybe a little bit different, or was he the same? No. So
He was
what were these
incredibly
two
different.
these two personas?
Well, as you say, you know the Freddie
Yeah.
on the stage with an audience of 80,000 people, or in Live Aid with the whole world in his hand. But he could not walk in this door with you 3 here. He could not walk in here on his own.
Okay, all right.
If he walked in with somebody he knew and was introduced to everybody, then he's fine. He's chatting, he's laughing, everything else. In all the time I knew him, I never ever saw him introduce himself to anybody. He just didn't have that self-belief as, and also you have to always remember, for Freddie, any time he was meeting someone, he had to think, who do they want to talk to? Freddie Mercury the person, or Freddie Mercury the star? Every single person. So he just, I mean, he was shy. He never went anywhere on his own. He tried it once. This was an experiment we actually did because he lived in Garden Lodge. It was literally a 10-minute walk to Mary's apartment. Normally he would have gone by car. But we said, right, we do this experiment. You walk. Terry will be around. He will be keeping an eye on you. Terry was his security. But you walk on your own. He walked maybe 300 meters and then just stopped. And Terry just had to go up, and then they carried on walking. He just couldn't deal with being totally on his own.
You were also maybe an advisor while filming the movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
What was your feeling about the movie? Are you satisfied with how it turned out, or?
It's an amazing film. It's
Yes,
a
it is.
brilliant
It is.
film.
It is.
It's a 4 Oscar-winning film.
It is. It
But is it the truth? No.
is. Okay. So it's a Hollywood story.
It's precisely.
More like...
This was a film aimed for millions and millions and millions of paying cinema goers, not for the 300,000 Queen fans.
Was the plot very different from the real story?
Well, the way I look at it, when I look at the film, I just look at each scene. And in each scene, I can see the germ of truth, but then with lots of Hollywood embroidery around it. For me, what would have made the film, it would have just changed it that little bit, but would have made it much more real for me, was one more scene, no more than 30 seconds, 40 seconds, of Freddie at home with his real friends laughing. Because you don't see that in the film.
Right.
You see some laughing, but it's forced laughter.
Right.
But Freddie was not depressive. He was not always sad. He loved laughing. He loved having people around him enjoying themselves.
That's kind of the impression that I got from the film too. That it was, I felt a little bit sorry that he seemed to be depressed or anxious all the time.
Yeah, and that's not true.
That's not true. It's good that we are speaking about it, so maybe the viewers know about it as well. That's good. All right. Are you still in touch with the band members?
A couple of them. Brian May and Roger occasionally. I mean, usually with Roger, it's if they're touring and I'm in the same country where they are, we'll meet up.
Right,
But
that's nice.
I live here. They live in either the UK, America, or they're touring around the world. So actually getting together is not so easy. But Brian and I, we exchange emails every now and then, and we just basically keep in touch. Yes.
That's
the thing
nice.
is, we knew each other for 12 years.
Right.
And that doesn't just disappear, because the thing is, you have to remember, a lot of that was touring, so you're with them every single day. And that doesn't disappear.
Right. Well, of course, it's like a significant time of
Yeah.
part
It
of
was
life.
1/3 of my life at
Yeah.
that point.
Yes. Nice. Very good. All right. I will also ask, because we have Milan here, about your mutual project that is called Titanic Freddie AIDS. Can you tell me more about it? Možná, Milane, můžete klidně v češtině.
Tak vlastně
On může anglicky.
On může a nemusí.
Titanic Freddie AIDS vlastně to je projekt, který vznikl asi tak před 11 lety. 11? Už je to 11 let, mám pocit. Kdy jednoduše řečeno jsme byli na jedné akci, kde jsme s kapelou viděli takovou nepříjemnou situaci a jedné mladisté dívky, která tam měla takové záležitosti se starším pánem, a to nás vlastně namotivovalo k tomu se s Petrem vlastně spotkat a říct si, o nemoci AIDS se vůbec v dnešní době nemluví. A tento projekt je vlastně zaměřený na to, aby se mladé generaci ukázalo, že pokud nemoc AIDS mohl chytit, nebo respektive vir HIV Freddie Mercury, tak vlastně ho může chytit kdokoliv jiný, když si nedá pozor. A při této přednášce vlastně těm žákům ukazujeme poslední 4 roky Freddieho života, to absolutně bez cenzury, je to velice tvrdé. Jsou tam i poslední minuty toho Freddieho života, máme tam různé záběry, které reflektují vlastně ten Freddieho, jeho poslední dekádu života. A zároveň je to úžasné v tom, že od roku 2017 je patronem tohoto projektu právě Brian May, kytarista skupiny Queen, a máme oficiální záštitu od nadace Mercury Phoenix Trust, která nám vlastně dovoluje používat vlastně ty záběry z vystoupení a záběry Freddieho v rámci tohoto projektu.
A to je senzace. A kde všude působíte?
Zase v podstatě jezdíme po všech školách, kam si nás zavolají. Už jsme hovořili asi k 16,5 tisícům žákům, jeli jsme i turné po mexických univerzitách, kde jsme dostali světové ocenění mexických univerzit za boj proti AIDS, takže to bylo jako v tomto úžasné, takže jezdíme kamkoliv do škol, kam si nás pozvou. Je to většinou od 13 let výše.
A máte nějakou zpětnou vazbu, jak se jim to líbí, nebo jakou to v nich zanechává stopu?
To je to úžasné v tom, že ano, předevčírem jsme byli v Kraslicích a kdy za námi ti žáci sami přišli se slzami v očích, že jim to otevřelo hodně obzory. Druhý den jsme obdrželi osobní zprávy v tom slova smyslu, že jim to změnilo i život v tom slova smyslu, že netušili, jaké věci jsou za tím rohem, protože se o tom nemluví nějakým si způsobem o této tématice. My zároveň se snažíme i motivovat. Já jim ukazuji, že chtěl jsem být vždycky muzikantem, vyrostl jsem v malé vesničce, kde se prostě takové věci moc nenosí, dělat něco trošku jinak. A dostal jsem se vlastně do světa na 3 světové turné a snažíme se těm žákům ukázat prostě buďte na sebe opatrní a držte si svého snu a dokážete to, pokud budete chtít. A ta zpětná vazba je od nich neuvěřitelná. Často nás to hodně usadí.
To je krásné. Krásný poslání, co děláte, to je úžasné.
Děkujeme.
Ještě se zeptám dál. Vaše spolupráce není jenom v tomto projektu, vaše spolupráce je i hudební a teď máte nějakou novinku. Petr vydal knihu.
Tak,
rádi o tom slyšíme víc.
Tak vlastně Petr vydal knížku Ve správný čas na správném místě. Vydali jsme to vlastně v prosinci loňského roku. Je to vlastně čistá autobiografie od momentu, kdy se Petr narodil. Povídá tam trošku o svých rodičích, o tom, jak byl na internátní škole v Indii, proto vlastně měli s Freddiem hodně společného a ten jeho život se točil v kruzích. A Petr končí tu knížku momentem, kdy se stal občanem České republiky a dále ta knížka pokračuje kapitolou, kdy nám Petr napsal pár textů o tom, jak se Freddie cítil v různých životních situacích, když umíral nebo když byl se skupinou vlastně na turné a z toho vzniklo naše autorské album Another Step in Time, je na čase jít dál, a kde vlastně ukazujeme ten Freddieho život ve vzpomínkách a my jsme tady vlastně v té přítomnosti a vlastně je na čase jít dál, znamená to, že je před námi další cesta, na kterou se chceme vydat.
Tak a já koukám tady v knize, když byste si tu knihu chtěli pořídit, tak si vlastně pořídíte zároveň i to CDčko, protože tady je QR kód, který když načtete, tak si můžete stáhnout, což je 2 v 1.
My jsme vlastně českým čtenářům udělali tu věc, že jsme přeložili ty anglické texty do češtiny. Český herec Petr Batěk nám je trochu přebásnil, aby to mělo takovou trošku ten poetický smysl a zároveň vlastně tady je možnost se něco dozvědět o těch písničkách. Trošku jsme tam přenesli i něco z našeho života, protože se mi podařilo se dostat i do filmu Bohemian Rhapsody jako jediný český herec, takže vlastně jsme to pojali tak nějak osobně. Bez toho Freddieho bychom se mi nedostali k těmto úžasným projektům a tak jsme prostě udělali takovou tečku za takovou dlouhou cestou.
Alright, so one more last question for you guys, because the book's title je Ve správný čas na správném místě. Do you both believe that you were at the right time, at the right place?
Certainly for me, I've looked back and I think maybe in my life I've had 5 main jobs and only one of them I've ever had to fill in an application for. All the rest has just, I've been going on my journey. Do I go there or do I go there? Okay, let's go there. And for me, everything so far has been right.
Amazing. Milane?
Já si myslím, že bez zesporu určitě také a člověk si to trošku podle mě musí poslat tam nahoru, ty věci, které si přeje, otevřít se těm věcem a ono to prostě jednou přijde. Takže určitě ano, takhle jsem byl ve správný čas na správném místě.
I mean, for me, I think what I want this to show people is that anything can happen to anyone.
Amazing.
You don't have to be someone, you don't have to have a specific plan. Because, I mean, my original plan, I wanted to be a doctor. That never,
Really?
Yeah, and that because you read in the first chapter, I was in India. When I was on holiday, I lived in Calcutta and I used to help Mother Teresa.
Really?
In the home for the dying. And so I saw where doctors were needed, and that's what I wanted to do. It never happened. But the things that have happened to me in my life have been there. everybody has this chance of the right thing to happen to them. You just have to make the right choice.
That's amazing. That is a very nice, last sentence that that we can end this interview with. And it's very interesting that you said you helped Mother Teresa. That is for another interview.
How many people have spoken to a saint?
Oh my God, this is amazing. So Freddie's legacy is alive. Thanks to you guys. Thank you very much.
I don't like when people say that, because the thing is, I'll explain why. Freddie is alive today because of his music and his personality.
True.
All we do is just help it along.
No, je to vlastně tak, že dokud se lidé budou ptát a budou mít ten zájem, tak vlastně ten Freddie tu bude s námi na pořád, tak jako třeba Smetana a mnoho dalších různých umělců a tak dále. Ale je to o tom, že já když to vezmu na sebe, tak odmala jsem k tomu nějakým způsobem tíhnul. Přál jsem si ty věci a stojím před tím faktem, že mohu zpívat vlastní tvorbu o člověku, který mi je tak hudebně blízký, který mě motivoval a bez něho bych tu hudbu vlastně nikdy nedělal. Takže je to vlastně ten Freddie si to vlastně všechno takhle připravil.
It's your fault.
Vlastně za to může on.
But this is why this picture, because I feel particularly now, he's always been there.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. It was a pleasure and blessing to have you here.
Thank you.
Děkujeme za pozvání.
If there is anything new, let us know. We'll talk to you again.
Anytime.
And if there is anything you want to say to our viewers, it's all yours.
I mean, as I say, for me, just life is for living. As we say, as I always say at the end of the TFA project for the kids, there's an amazing life out there. There's so much to do, but you have to be alive to enjoy it, so just please be careful. That's all.
Za mě asi jediné to, že pokud si někdo něco přeje, tak běžte si tvrdě za tím. Ono to bolí samozřejmě, ale vždycky to za to stojí si tu vysněnou cestu a já jsem velice šťastný a hrozně vděčný, že mohu kráčet tou cestou, kterou jsem si vysněl.
Skvěle, děkuji.
Moc děkuji.
Ahoj.